Ahead, students attacking teachers in the public school system. Is the problem out of control? We'll show you some shocking video. In the Impact segment tonight, we've been telling you that there's a shocking amount of violence against teachers by students in the nation's public schools. The national media pretty much ignoring the story, perhaps because the powerful teachers' unions don't want Americans to know about it. But recently, ABC News exposed a terrible situation at the Strawberry Mansion High School in Philadelphia.
So many kids coming to learn, and others on a haircut. This school year, there have been 49 serious incidents like the ones we filmed. On one day, boys in a rough fistfight. On another day, girls attacking each other, and that's the principal caught in the middle. Incidents include attacking teachers, setting fires. It's time for lunch, just before noon.
This is the most scariest part of the day for me. I get petrified because I know that if they outnumber me, I don't know if I have enough manpower to bring them back.
And as we watch, another fight breaks out. One girl had spit on the other. A woman rushes to break it up.
Go, take her out, take her out.
She quickly restores order.
I'm down.
My leg, my knee.
Take a deep breath.
Now, Philadelphia probably going to close that school. With us now to analyze, Monica Crowley and Alan Combs. So, Combs, do you think this is a major problem in public schools?
As a matter of fact, I do. In fact, the NEA does say it is, as does the American Psychological Association. Right. They all agree that it is, and it's good that we're talking about it.
All right. Now, when I was in grammar school, they had movies like High School Confidential and Blackboard Jungle, and, you know, but these were very, very rare, where the teachers would actually be assaulted by the children. Now, 10% of the nation's public school teachers say they've been either assaulted or threatened by their students. Why the change?
Yeah, and what we're seeing there, that is not a learning environment, Bill.
No,
or when you were
chaos.
teaching, that is outrageous, it's total chaos. I think there are a couple of things going on here. Number one, I think breakdown of the family. You've got skyrocketing divorce rate. You've got fewer and fewer intact families with fewer and fewer fathers present. So you have families now that aren't instilling discipline and aren't instilling values and are not instilling a respect for authority.
All right, so breakdown of the family is your primary cause. This is a black school. Primarily black school in Philadelphia. All right, is there a racial situation?
Not necessarily. It could be because of poverty. It could have to do with something.
But there are no white schools that we know of in the country where this kind of a problem exists to that extent.
I'm just saying, before I'm going to jump and say it's a racial issue, I think we have to look at the research. Sadly, there's not been a lot of research on why this is happening. Both the American Psychological Association and the National Education Association say we don't really have enough data to show exactly why this is happening. They surmise it has to do with stress, economic stress, divorce, a parent who may be in the military, and all kinds of things. But to say it's racist,
it is largely an African American and Hispanic American problem. That's where the violence are in those precincts. And let's expand the discussion. In New York City, 80% of all the shootings in the nation's largest town are blacks. If you add Hispanic shooters, 98% of all the shootings in New York City are minority. Less than 1% are white. So you're seeing not only violence in the schools, but then it translates out into the streets, almost exclusively from the minority precincts.
Yeah.
And you say?
This is a politically inconvenient fact.
Oh, this is a hot button, boy.
The overwhelming number of violent crimes are considered by minorities, blacks and Hispanics. And they're not just the criminals, they're also the victims.
That's right. That's an important point.
And that is a it's gang activity and it's minority on minority violence.
So in New York, we have this thing, stop and frisk, where the police take the guns and they pat down people. And the ACLU doesn't like it, and now there's a judge that's probably going to throw it out. But who's going to be harmed by that, Holmes?
Well, you're right to point out that blacks are often the victims as much as the perpetrators in situations like this. But
overwhelmingly.
But stop and frisk has not. The data shows it does not done. It does not.
They got
have
800. They got about 800 guns and I don't even know how many knives last year off the street on the stop and frisk. But stats aside, it's a fact that if you take stop and frisk away, more black Americans and Hispanic Americans are going to die.
That's not a fact because the data
You don't
shows,
believe that?
No, I do not believe that because the data does not show that there's been a decrease in crime based on stop and frisk.
Do you believe that?
Absolutely. The overwhelming majority of violent crime, as we just said, committed by blacks and Hispanics in overwhelmingly minority communities. When you're trying to stop this kind of violent crime, you don't go into low crime areas to do it. You have to go into high crime areas to do it.
And that's why the arrests are
they're
higher.
going into these neighborhoods to do it. The minority communities in these neighborhoods where the stop and frisk policy is going on and where it's had enormous success in getting weapons off the streets, out of the hands of gangs and criminals, has been enormously successful. When you talk to minority parents, they will tell you they want this to continue to go on.
No, that not
Most
not
of them
no.
don't. Most of them,
There's
not
a
the
lot of them that
politicians,
don't
most of the
want it
parents
because
do.
they're inconvenienced.
No.
One more question, Combs.
Yes.
The statistics in schools and in violent crime against African Americans are damning. They're damning. Monica says it's the deterioration of the family that drives this kind of behavior.
I think it's a broad statement.
Do you believe that?
I think that may be one factor, but I think that's
okay. Give me another factor.
Another
that drives
factor
it.
could be poverty. Again, it's an issue of bringing people up. It's the economics of the country. The fact that things are getting better. Crime is less when you have a better economic system.
All right.
It's not just about
No, but it is a fact that
white communities, they don't have this level of violence.
No, but it's a fact that the unemployment rate is much higher among African Americans, particularly the youths who are doing all the destruction.
That's
so
true,
that,
but when
I
you
think
pair
there's
it
an
all
economic
together, the breakdown
component
of the
as well.
family and erosion of respect for authority, schools, teachers, police, and
definitely
parents,
happening.
this is what you get.
All right. Thank you both.
You bet.
Plenty more.